Hello everyone. So today we will talk about food processing. So what is food processing? So as the name says, it is a processing of food. So before eating, so we have to process the food. So it is the conversion of agricultural product to substances which have particular textural, sensory and nutritional properties using commercially feasible methods. So, conversion of the agricultural product to substances which has texture, which has texture and nutritional properties using commercially feasible methods. So we have primary processing and secondary processing. So primary processing, it is nothing but the conversion of raw materials to food commodities. So milling, it is an example of primary processing. So milling is nothing but separation of materials, like bigger material into smaller ones. Example, flour is made by the process of milling. So milling, it is an example of primary processing, that is separation of materials, like conversion material separation, or the conversion of bigger things to smaller. So secondary processing, it is the conversion of ingredients into edible products. This involves combining foods in a particular way to change properties. So secondary processing, it is the conversion of ingredients itself to edible products, which involves combining foods in a particular way to change properties. So combining the foods so that the product will be edible. Edible means eatable, and to change the properties as also. So baking cakes is an example of secondary processing. So baking cakes, so how do we bake cakes? So using different like flour, egg. So using these two things, we bake a cake. So it is an example of secondary processing. So by this way we can improve the increase the nutritional properties of the food. And a considerable variety of products can be made using simple basic ingredients. Example, to make bread we need flour, water and salt. And breads such as chapati and pitta are examples of unleavened breads. If yeast is added to these after added to this, produces carbon dioxide. Given the carbon dioxide, it raises the mixture to produce bread such as those they eat more commonly in Great Britain. So you can just write about the primary processing and secondary processing. So primary processing is nothing but conversion of raw materials to food commodities. Milling is an example of primary processing. Secondary processing, it is the conversion of ingredients into edible products, which involves combining foods in a particular way to change the properties. Baking cake, it is an example of secondary processing. This is enough to write. And the product development, so there are different stages of product development. So product development is the process of making new or modified products. The aim of product development is for a company to increase sales and remain competitive. So how do we process food? It is to convert it to edible products and to preserve, to extend the availability and provide accessibility, to provide variety and choice, and to add value. It is to convert it into edible products and to preserve, that is store, and to extend availability and provide accessibility. So available, it should be available, and it should be accessible, and to provide variety and choice, and to add value. So typical food processes, most food which is manufactured goes through a number of common steps, the specific details of which may differ, but the basic principles are the same. The sequence of unit operations in food processing, from delivery of raw materials to distribution of finished product. So the methods of food processing, it is nothing but canning, fermentation, freezing and modified atmosphere packaging. So canning is nothing but heating to a high temperature. Fermentation, breakdown of sugars by bacteria, yeast or other microorganisms under anaerobic conditions. Freezing, as you know, low temperature refrigerator. Modified atmosphere, packaging. These are the methods of food processing, and we have processing and preservation. So processing and preservation, which it destroys, or inhibits or removes microorganism, retards or prevents deleterious biochemical, chemical and physiochemical changes. It maintains and generates acceptable organoleptic properties, and it preserves or enhances the nutritive value. So there are four steps or five steps. Processing and preservation. It destroys or inhibits or removes microorganisms. It retards, or that is stops or prevents biochemical, chemical and physiochemical changes. It maintains and generates acceptable organoleptic properties, that is organic properties. It maintains the nutritive value, and it is preserves or enhances the nutritive value. So processing and preservation technologies used in the food industry are heating, drying, irradiation by UV radiation, concentration, freezing, chemical preservation, chilling, fermentation, and a combination of those technologies. So this is nothing but a food processing is very simple. So definition: it is a conversion of agricultural product to substances which have particular texture, sensory and nutritional properties. Primary processing: conversion of raw materials to food commodities. Milling is an example. Secondary processing: conversion of ingredients into edible products, which involves combining food in a particular way to change properties. Baking is an example of secondary processing. Product development, we have, so the aim of the product development is for a company to increase sales and remain competitive. It is a process of making new or modified food products. So why do we process food? It is to convert it to edible products, to preserve, to extend availability and provide accessibility, and to provide variety and choice, and to add value. And typical food processes, it is you have canning, fermentation, freezing, modified atmosphere, packaging. Processing and preservation, what is a benefit? It is destroys or inhibits or removes microorganisms. It stops or prevents biochemical, chemical and physiochemical changes, maintains and generates acceptable organic properties, preserves the nutritive value. Processing and preservation technologies used in the food industry are heating, drying, irradiation, concentration, freezing, chemical preservation, chilling, fermentation, and a combination of those technologies. So now we will talk about food preservation. So this I have taken it from the book Food Preservation. So the definition for the food preservation: it is a technique to prevent food spoilage, food infection, food poisoning, and microbial contamination from the food. So it is the technique to prevent food spoilage, food infection, food poisoning, and microbial contamination. So objectives are to prevent and to remove microbial contamination, to inhibit microbial growth and metabolism, to kill contaminating pathogens, to minimize the food spoilage, food infection, and food poisoning. So these are the objectives of food preservation. Very important question. And the principle is to prevent autolysis. Autolysis is nothing but self destruction. Self destruction. Autolysis is nothing but self destruction. To prevent microbial growth and metabolism, to inactivate the enzymes, to remove one or more requirement necessary for the microbial growth, to create an anaerobic condition, to bring about the change of pH, to kill microbial pathogens. So principle: it is to prevent autolysis, to prevent microbial growth, to inactivate enzymes, and to remove one or more requirement necessary for the microbial growth, to change the pH, to kill microbial pathogens. So these are the methods of food preservation. So we have 14 methods. So pickling, salting, smoking, aseptic processing, canning, bottling, pasteurization, refrigeration, sterilization, dehydration, lyophilization, high osmotic pressure, chemical additives, and radiation. So we'll see one by one what is the methods of food preservation. So pickling, it is the food to be preserved is acidified in vinegar, It preserves vegetables, meat, etc. due to the action of acetic acid. So pickling is nothing but it is to preserve the food in vinegar. So salting it is done by addition of salts, and smoking of fish and meat prevents spoilage by dehydration. Smoking is nothing but dehydration. So the fish and the meat are exposed to smoke produced by incomplete combustion of selected woods, corn cobs, or other materials. So the smoke contains chemical preservatives such as cresols, formic acid, methyl alcohol, formaldehyde, etc. So where I have put the uh, mark, but this is enough for you. So no need to write the other thing. So smoking of fish and meat prevents spoilage by dehydration, and then it is exposed to smoke produced by incomplete combustion of selected woods, corn cobs, or other materials. Aseptic processing it is a relatively new development in the food industry. The food item is first sterilized, then dispersed into previously sterilized containers and sealed under aseptic conditions. So aseptic is nothing but sterilization. So it is first sterilized, then it is dispersed into the containers under aseptic condition without any contamination. So canning it is the preservation of food by putting it in a metal container and sealing it airtight. So it is the preservation of food by putting it in a metal container and sealing it in airtight. Nicholas Appert was a father of canning. The food products such as meat, fish, poultry products, pumpkin, spinach, tomatoes, berries, fruits, vegetables, etc. are preserved through canning. High temperature is applied for canning. The objective of canning is to kill the living organisms in the food stored in a can or a jar. So it involves 6 steps. They are cleaning, blanching, exhausting, sealing, autoclaving, and cooling. So canning it is the preservation of food by putting it in a metal container and sealing it airtight without any air. Nicholas Appert was the father of canning. So for fruit products such as meat, fish, poultry products, pumpkin, spinach, tomatoes, berries, fruits, vegetables are preserved through canning. So high temperature is applied for canning. The objective of canning is to kill all the living organisms. It involves 6 steps: cleaning, blanching, exhausting, sealing, autoclaving, and cooling. So canning the food materials are first cleaned to remove the dirt and microbes. Then the food materials are immersed in hot water. This is called blanching. Once it is washed, it is immersed in hot water, which is called as blanching, which removes the other microbes. Then the hot food is filled in the jars or cans. The filled can are passed through an exhaust box in which hot water or steam circulated. This is called exhausting, where it removes the excess air. Exhausting expands food, drives out air, and provides an atmosphere of steam at the top of the can. This is done to remove the air. So immediately after exhausting, the can is sealed, which prevents recontamination of the canned food. After sealing, the cans are autoclaved. Again, it is by autoclave. There is a instrument called autoclave where the cans are stored in a autoclave for 1 hour, which then the cans are cooled immediately either in air or in cold water. Sometimes the canned food may undergo spoilage. The spoilage of canned food may be due to chemical or biological means. The most important chemical spoilage is the hydrogen swell caused by the action of food acid on the metal of cans. This leads to the swelled cans with bulging ends, through which we can identify that the can is spoiled, the food is spoiled. So biological spoilage of canned food may be due to surviving microbes in the processed food or due to leakage of the cans. The canned food is spoiled by putrefaction or acid production or gas forming or blackening. The bacteria uh, responsible for spoilage is Bacillus coagulans and Bacillus stearothermophilus, which produces flat sore In flat store, the organism produces acid without gas, hence the ends of the can remain flat and spoilage cannot be detected unless the can is opened. So as you can see, then it is a normal can, it is a swelled can. Another bacteria called Clostridium thermosaccharolyticum produces thermophilic acid spoilage. In this spoilage, the can swells due to the production of carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Clostridium magnificans produces sulfide spoilage, which is indicated by the presence of hydrogen sulfide and the blackening of foods. So this is canning. You might get canning in 5 marks. This is an important question. Next, you have bottling. In bottling, the food products are preserved in bottles. It involves high temperature treatment, as in canning. Liquid food such as milk, wine, ghee, etc., can be preserved in bottles. Pasteurization is also important. So, it is the process of heating milk below the boiling point to kill all the non sporing pathogenic bacteria but not to cause change in the composition, flavor, and nutritive value of milk. This process was originally introduced by Pasteur, and the pasteurization it was named after his name. There are two methods of pasteurization: holding method and flash method. Holding method, in this method the milk is held in tanks for a long time, that is for 30 minutes at a low temperature, that is 62.8 degrees Celsius. This method is also called as low temperature holding method. Flash method, this milk is this in this the milk is subjected to high temperature 71.7 degrees Celsius for a short time, 15 seconds. This is called as high temperature short time method. So pasteurization stops fermentation. Pasteurized milk rarely sours, liquid egg can also be pasteurized. Next we have refrigeration, where we store the food in a refrigerator. Here low temperature plays the main role. Food remains unspoiled in refrigerators at 5 degrees Celsius. In freezer, microbes are killed at minus 5 degrees Celsius. Deep freezers, there is minus 60 degrees Celsius, reduce biochemical activities of microbes. Deep freezers are useful for storing meat and fish. Sterilization, it is the removal or destruction of microbes from food. Milk is sterilized by boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. The sterilized milk can be stored in the refrigerator indefinitely. So this is the definition for sterilization. Dehydration, it is the removal of water from the food. It is the simplest and the cheapest method. Drying in the sun is a simple method of dehydration. Lyophilization, it is a method of freeze drying. The food is preserved by rapid freezing and rehydration of the frozen products under high vacuum. So the dry products is then sealed in foil and it is reconstituted with water. This method is very useful for storing, transporting and preserving bacterial cultures, drugs and enzymes. High osmotic pressure. Here water is withdrawn from microbial cells by placing them in solution containing large amounts of dissolved substances such as sugar or salt. Chemical additives such as benzoic acid, sorbic acid, acetic acid, lactic acid and propionic acid are used to preserve foods, which enables the microbial growth. Radiation, it is a recent development in preservation of food. Non-ionizing and ionizing radiation are used to control the microorganisms in the food. So this is nothing but food preservation, very important question. So it is a technique to prevent food spoilage, food infection, food poisoning and microbial contamination from the food. So methods: pickling, salting, smoking, aseptic processing, canning, bottling, pasteurization, refrigeration, sterilization, dehydration, lyophilization, high osmotic pressure, chemical additives and radiation. Now we will talk about advantages and disadvantages of food preservation. So advantages, first you have drying. It is concentrated form of food, inhibits microbes and it retains the nutrients. Disadvantages: loss of thiamine and vitamin C. Sulfur dioxide is added to retain some nutrients, but some individuals may be sensitive to these sulfur dioxide. Next is smoking. It partly by drying and partly by incorporation of certain substances Eating smoked is like with some cancers in some parts of the world. So this is the disadvantage. And refrigeration, which slows microbial action, slows the action of enzymes, and which also slow loss of which also the disadvantage is loss of some nutrients. Freezing prevents microbial growth and availability of water. Good retention of nutrients, but disadvantage blanching prior to freezing may cause the loss of vitamins. Adding salt and sugar makes water unavailable, does not destroy nutrients, helps in preservation. Increases salt and sugar content of the food, that is a disadvantage. High heat processing, example pasteurization deactivates enzyme, destroys microorganism, but the loss of heat sensitive nutrients. Canning destroys microbes and enzymes, but the water soluble vitamins may be lost due to liquid present in the can used for preservation. Chemical preservatives prevents microbial growth, no loss of nutrients, but some people can be sensitive to preservatives. Ionizing radiation sterilizes food without changing flavors like spices. It inhibits the sprouting of potatoes, increases life of food like strawberries and mushrooms. Disadvantage, longer shelf life of foods. It can lead to greater loss of nutrients. So this is the advantage and disadvantages of food preservation methods. Now we will talk about diet therapy, principles of diet therapy. Food preservation and food processing. Food preservation is very important question, in that canning, pasteurization is very important. So diet therapy, as the name suggests, therapy means therapeutic. So using the diet we can using diet itself we can treat any kind of disease. So diet therapy means the use of diet like food and drink, not only in the care of the sick but also in the prevention of disease and maintenance of health. It is concerned with the use of food as an agent in effecting recovery from illness. So using diet itself we can prevent disease and maintain our health. We can also treat the patients having illness. The principles of the therapeutic diet is a well planned diet providing all the specific nutrients to the body, which helps to achieve nutritional homeostasis in a normal healthy individual. However, in disease conditions, the body tissues either do not receive proper nutrients in sufficient amounts or cannot utilize the available nutrients owing to faulty digestion, absorption, or transportation of food elements, which affects the nutritional properties of the sick person. So, the diet therefore needs to be suitably modified according to the patient. However, it is important that the basis for planning such modified diet should be the normal diet. So therefore diet therapy is concerned with the modification of normal diet to meet the requirements of the sick individual. So the general objectives of the diet therapy are to maintain a good nutritional status, to correct the nutrient deficiency which may have occurred due to the disease, to afford rest to the whole body or to the specific organ affected by the disease, to adjust the food intake to the body's ability to metabolize the nutrients during the disease, to bring about changes in body weight whenever necessary. So this is the objective of diet therapy. It is to maintain a good nutritional status, to correct the nutrient deficiencies, to afford rest to the whole body or to the specific organ affected by the disease, to adjust the food intake to the body's ability to metabolize the nutrients during the disease, to bring about changes in body weight wherever necessary. So advantages of using normal diet as the basis for therapeutic diets are: it is emphasizes the similarity of psychological and social needs of those who are well, even though There is quantitative and qualitative differences in the requirement, thus ensuring better acceptability. So the quantity and quality is important so that it ensures the better acceptability. It is simplified when the modified diet is based upon the family pattern and the number of items required. Special preparation is reduced to a minimum. The calculated values for the basic plan are useful in finding out the effects of addition or omission of certain foods. Example, vegetables are restricted, vitamin A or vitamin C deficiency can occur. So it is planned according to the sick person. So considering factors which to consider in planning therapeutic diets are the underlying disease condition which requires a change in the diet, possible duration of the disease, factors in the diet which must be altered to overcome these conditions, the patient's tolerance for food by mouth. So, in planning meals for a patient, his economic status, his food preferences, his occupation, and time of meal should also be considered. The four attributes of a therapeutic diet are adequacy, accuracy, economy, and palatability. Adequacy means uh, quantity, accuracy, it should be accurate, the vitamins, minerals, all that. Economy, the patient should be able to afford the, the food what we provide. Palatability is nothing but it should be palatable, that is eatable, and it should be eatable and it should be tasty. So this is the four attributes of therapeutic diet. So today we spoke about food processing, food preservation, advantages and disadvantages of the methods of food preservation and the diet therapy. Thank you very much.